We do have OPEX next week, so that's going to be a wild week. Do just want to mention some size that came through on AMD. We had a 1.5 million share dark pool print at 104.97. NVIDIA has been another one where we've seen some larger activity, Qualcomm and TSM. So starting to see a little more action into the semi space, which we would like to see. That bodes well for overall markets. But just kind of still been really within a range on a lot of these charts if you kind of zoom out a little bit more. So some great opportunities for intraday trades. But I think when you zoom out a little bit, we've kind of just got that chop still in place.
Okay, interesting. So where's the money flow going today?
I'm looking at a few things. I was in some trades, so I'm going back and forth. One side note that I've been seeing, and this has been an area that I've been extremely interested in is IWM. This week, we've seen larger dark pool activity all through the week, and we don't typically see the size in the IWM. This kind of correlates with a dark pool print that we had. It's a phantom print. We call it a phantom print because it's outside of the trading range, but a print that has not canceled. So that's up at 212.83, suggesting that there may be some upside on the horizon for the IWM. I'm starting to see some rotation. So for example, today, the IWM, a larger put position into the 414-200s is closing out. So they're going bid side. Yesterday, we had the 414-210 calls with over about 2 million and seeing a little activity going into next week, the 318-205 calls above the ask with about 600,000. So not seeing a lot of the right here, right now, but starting to see some call flow coming in a little outward, going and covering that 318, like I said, up to the 414. So that's kind of been just day trading some of the moves that we've had intraday just because we do still have so much volatility, but am setting up some longer term positioning call side into the IWM going out to 414. Otherwise, it's definitely worth noting the extremely large dark pool activity that we had in the VIX, and we've been staying below that. So the VXX is your volatility, and we have seen two prints this week on 3/8. We had 8.6 million shares, which in and of itself, that was the largest that we've had when I did a review of historical activity going back to Jan 2021. The following day, we had another dark pool print with 9.86 million. So I think they may have been distributing up here because we did see larger size speckling in before we had the run up with volatility. We are below those numbers. So interesting that we're kind of fading and dropping the VIX. We're just not seeing the same correlation to the upside with the SPY that tends to resolve itself. You typically would have an inverse relationship there. But so far we're under those larger levels. So I think we may, especially going into the VIX, potentially see some, upside, going into OPEX, which we've got next week, which will be pretty wild. Today, put side definitely in tech. We're seeing for today's expiration, Apple had quite a bit put activity, China names put activity continuing. That's kind of been bigger moves in that whole sector within the China space.
Okay, very interesting. Continuing, so again, for anybody that just joined us, we'll be running for, usually we do about an hour, maybe a little bit more. We're going to do our best to have some live trading in here, go through some names, maybe take some questions, things along those lines. Vegas, how's everything going?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, quite chop fest actually today. So it has been challenging to find some channels per se. We did short IWM this morning, and that was a good trade. No longer in IWM, but GLD is a fresh trade, and so we are in GLD calls, and we're in the 185s. They're currently 64 cents, and it has to stay over the 185.25, and looking for this to go to 185.96, maybe 186.18, and maybe 186.26, but We're currently in that trade right now on GLD. It is a bold trade per se because, anything can change on a dime. But definitely it has triggered. So we're currently in that trade at the moment on GLD. And then we also had a Walmart Lotto. Again, this one here in particular can actually go to zero. Walmart has a reversal here. The 144 calls currently around 12 cents, actually 11 cents. So it can be very choppy and kind of go to zero. So if anyone was to watch or to consider that for a reversal, size accordingly, you can go to zero. So you have to go, what you're comfortable losing is how you have to view that one in particular, because obviously it's so cheap and we're heading towards 12 o'clock. So currently those are the ones in play at the moment.
Okay. Taking a look at some of those. So we did, have a lot of stuff going on with Walmart last week. I haven't really, I feel like, looked at it too much this week. Since really we were looking at those calls last week. Wow, real up and down week, huh?
Yeah, Walmart charts look really nice. Yesterday, it did cross over the 200-day and over the 50 as well. And we did have actually some dark pool activity come into Walmart yesterday. So when it went over 141, that was confirmation that dark pool trade that came through yesterday was actually a buy. So, there were we did day trade it as well yesterday. So now today is really just from a, Lotto perspective. And I like that it's holding quite well here. It is, like I said, choppy to trade, but you're really looking at it from a reversal at these price points. So, I'd like to see that it stays over 142. So kind of have some support here, even at 142.29 as well. We have some support there. So potential good risk reward, but, with these lottos, they can go to zero. But, that went so cheap. You're looking, that's why it's called a lotto, because it's so cheap and, it could work and it maybe won't work. So, but for, 12 cents, you don't mind trading some of these setups.
Absolutely. And then let's take a look at SPY here. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. Look at that. What's up, Mom?
Oh, your mom's here? Hi, Mom.
Yeah, Mom just came up.
Hi, Mom. We love your son. We love Gav.
She accepted the speaker invite. Mom, now you gotta talk.
Awesome.
Hi, hear me?
Yeah, are you on the beach? Yeah, she might be on. Oh boy. She all right.
Hello? Oh, man.
Okay, well, I can hear you, Mom. It's just cutting in. Are you in a car?
No, I'm on the beach. Can you hear me, though? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So, hi, everybody. It's I had to come on and hear my favorite cub. It's Wolf Mom, Minnie Ira. And I am not on Wall Street today. I'm on Atlantic Avenue, and I'm facing the Atlantic Ocean. Sorry about the background noise. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello? Oh, man. The darn ocean is too loud.
All right. Enjoy the beach, okay? Feel free to hang out.
Anyway, if you can hear me, I'm just checking out real estate on Millionaire Mile. But I have a feeling you cannot hear me, so sorry. I'll try and go somewhere quieter.
Right, well, okay. I'll do our best.
Sorry.
No, you're good. All right. We are going to pull back to the SPY. I'll text with her and figure that out on that end. Okay, so let's take a look at SPY, and hopefully, if Mama Blacksburg gets to somewhere that's not on the beach, we'll dig into that. What's up, Vegas? I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, sorry, just saying that GLD is making some moves here. So the 185 calls, I had mentioned them. I forget what price I said, and it was a low 60s, and so now they're going here around 80 cents right now. And just a reminder, if anyone's listening and you're looking and you're trading GLD, Next resistance we're looking at is that 185.74. If that breaks, we're heading to 185.96 and then 186.18. So some strength coming into GLD and some good flow coming through.
Okay. So taking a look at SPY here, I'm looking on the 15-minute, and it was trying to hold the 200-day. It still is, and it's kind of right above it. There's a bit of a volume ledge as well from 425.12 up to 426.19, like one-ish. So kind of looking for that level. I feel like commonly we see in these spaces, we always get this SPY reversal here. At least it feels like the last few weeks. But SPY's been all over the place this week. I saw Gerg put out a tweet. He said Monday, SPY sinks 2.9% for the worst close since October 2020. Wednesday, SPY closes 2.6% higher for biggest gain since June 2020. And then Thursday, we get that huge inflation print. And now we're kind of coming off that into Friday. We're also in the midst of kind of some global calamity and other things going on. So certainly no stranger to volatility at the moment. So let's get some looks at SPY. Sim, what are you looking at on? I know you mostly trade SPX, right?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be taking a position here in a second on SPX. I'm in SPX right now. Just got in for the
Call.
42.20 puts.
Oh,
Looking at a rejection here. Yeah, I'm waiting for a potential rejection here. Do see some weakness still on the tape, so just gonna be holding that. That's today's expiration, by the way.
what level?
I'm sorry.
What level?
I was looking at a rejection on SPY at about the 425.2 level. Another one would be 425.7. So looking to see some more downside here. We got whenever I see weakness on the tape, I'm more inclined to get in. That's my confirmation. As of now, I'm just looking at the charts. I mean, we're relatively decent volume. But this is the hour where I consider this lunch hour, so volume will end up dying out here, and sometimes will also fall on low volume as well. But as of now, there's no clear direction, which is why I've sized down considerably over the last couple of weeks. But overall, I still see a lot more weakness on the bottom for more downside.
Okay. How about yourself, Vegas?
Sorry, with regards to the SPY?
Yep.
Yeah, so the SPY is definitely, showing some weakness here. And, I think Sim mentioned, are you shorting it right now, Sim? I think she's shorting it or looking for a short there.
Yeah, I'm in SPX puts
on the
right
SPX. Yeah, so it is definitely, it actually broke the supports for me on the SPY. I mean, I was actually looking for this to head down towards 420, 412, which is, kind of a retracement of some pivot points I have from dark pool flow. But it has broken that level today and then retraced and came back. So watching to see, will it want to try to climb out and get back? When I need to see this get back over 426 to kind of get out of the bear zone. So definitely going to be watching I'm not in any SPY positions at this time, but we'll be watching to see if it gets back over 426. So if it starts to get over 426, then I'll be definitely watching for maybe a reversal. But I need to see the 426 break. Even 426.15 probably is a better level to, maybe look for that reversal opportunity. SPY, it looks like it's trying to reverse from here too. We have some lower support here at 424.25. But I'm just watching it at this time because I just want that confirmation before I consider going into any type of reversal play or calls, because with the choppiness in the market at any moment it could just flip on a dime and then the money you just put in is just gone, especially on these lotto setups.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I do just want to get this called out. I am picking up AMZ. Today's 106 as a lotto. We just mentioned the 1.5 million share dark pool print at 104.87, holding above. Also seeing some options flow coming into today's expiry 106. Looking for a run back up, and we are holding that larger dark pool level in at 70 cents.
Yeah, so Mel, so you're in AMD 106 calls at 75 cents.
At 70.
Okay. And what was the dark pool you guys saw? Can you just repeat
One,
that?
sure, 1.5
Oh,
million shares
1.5 million? Yeah.
at 104.87, and a little sweeper activity coming into that as well.
Yeah, I see that. That's a good flow there, and it'll be some really nice if we can see AMD actually break 110 today. If we do see that break for any reason, but if it does for somehow flip and go, if it breaks 110, we have a move maybe to go to 112.66. So that would be like a really sweet trade on AMD. And if you're in the 106, and those of you with smaller accounts, maybe if the cheaper super lottos at this point would be the 108s, and those are 19 cents, and those actually opened at 120, and we're at 125. So some really good theta damage here on AMD. So definitely like a lotto would definitely be a 108 call, because those are super cheap and they're 19 cents now. But that would be a really good lotto, especially with the smaller accounts. You don't really mind to lose, $17, $19. So if you have a smaller account, you might want to look at that one as well. Thanks, Mel. That's a great one.
I know, we got lucky coming in at the bottom. I love
Yeah.
those setups. That's why I love to watch dark pool activity when you start to see larger size coming in at the bottom. Definitely. Oh, and another 750,000 share dark pool print at 105.67. So we've got additional activity that came through there. So 104.87 and 105.67. I'll actually get this out on a tweet so you guys can see that as well.
Very nice. How about the Qs? Sim, have you looked at those today?
Yeah, this morning's volume was just horrible. But Qs, we dumped out. My level on Qs was underneath that 330 level. And still looking at more potential downside on the Qs as well. Overall, Amazon was very strong this morning. I actually jumped into some puts. I did get stopped out on my position, because we were holding even though Qs were dumping off pretty heavily. Did see some downside after the fact, but um, relative to what everything else was doing in the tech sector, even Apple today, Apple had like a nice little burn off in the morning, and I assumed that the market would sell off a lot harder today, but didn't get that move, so that's why I got stopped out of that position. I'm still looking at the Qs. I'm always looking at the Qs. I'm always looking at Apple, by the way. Still see more downside. I see a bear age potentially forming on Apple. So we could see some more downside below that previous low that we got of that 154.78 level. Also, guys, if you guys took this trade with me, I'm up 15% here so far on these SPX puts.
Yeah, I'm watching basically the same play that you took on SPY. I marked it down for the 424 puts, and those are up, around 15
Awesome.
right here as well.
Nice.
Very nice. Vegas, want to weigh in on the Qs? All right, Mel, want to touch on the Qs?
Let me pull that up. So currently had 169,000 share dark pool print at 330.74, which we've tried to come up retest and have rejected. Still, I'd like to use the 34 EMA, still rejecting, at that level. Not a lot of activity there. And overall, it seems like the Qs, even throughout this week, just has remained the weaker index comparatively. On some days where you had SPY and IWM, pushing to new high a day, you had the Qs lagging. So definitely still have some weakness in that tech sector.
Okay, yeah, still seeing weakness there for sure. All right, let's look at a couple other areas. I'm just pulling up a few things. Okay, watching today, SQ and Amazon. So Just a couple things that are on the watch list here. Pulling up Square. And for all these plays, for anyone in the crowd, we're definitely playing both short and long side today, just depending on what the chart setup is. So right here with Square, I think that there was some good puts when it fell through that 107 range, and those did prove pretty fruitful. And I wouldn't say that it's not going to fall a bit farther here. I think that there is a nice little gap down to fill. So keeping an eye on potential for Square puts. Yeah, I would just be careful there because some of that move's already been made. And then Amazon. Sim, have you been looking at Amazon at all since post that split?
Yeah, definitely. That was huge news that we got. I definitely see more of a run up. It's been holding, like I said earlier, it's been holding pretty strong relative to the rest of the market. I do see potential for upside. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I want to see if we go red today, potentially take a longer out expiration position on that Amazon. I see definite upside because of that split news. 20 to 1 is huge. So definitely gonna see a run up before that split happens, and I'm interested to see if Amazon's gonna be trading with that same type of volatility after the fact.
Where would be your level? So for me, I would be looking to, if this fell back down to 29.15, I would be looking to kind of scalp that move back down to like the high 2700s that it's kind of done a few times.
I really like 29.20 level that I've been watching for a while. Below that 29.08. So I want to see if we could get anywhere close to that at all. But again, it has been holding up really nicely today. So see a lot of strength in that today.
Perfect. So we're running for about 25 minutes. If anybody does have questions for specific stocks or things like that, feel free to hit that request button. We're happy to bring some of you up and take some of those to the panel. And I'm looking right now at a bit of a heat map. So Tesla's having, it looks like, a pretty rough day here. But Facebook as well. I read this morning that Mark Zuckerberg has lost $50 billion of his net worth. It was either this year or in the past year, something along those lines. Vegas, I know that you were kind of one of the first people I saw on this when we were doing spaces. And there was, that initial fall off from Facebook where it dropped, 25% basically in a day. And we were looking at it falling.
Yeah.
You said if this goes to 220, this is just going to keep going downwards.
Yes, you know what? Facebook was a tough one. I was bullish on it at one time when it was over that 217.50. I actually had taken a swing trade, but then when it broke below that 200, the $200 level, it just broke support. It just has not been able to hold up at all. And yeah, it's just ever since the earnings came out, I gotta say the stock's had a lot of damage. It's not been able to really recover and go back to the levels where it probably maybe investors are thinking it should be at. So it's extremely broken down on Facebook. So it has had a very hard time with this one, and ever since that 200 broke, it's just been extreme chopped to the downside on Facebook for sure. So that was a good trade for bears or anyone shorting that. Definitely, they banked a lot on Facebook. I lost all my trade. I was not too thrilled, but support broke and had to take that loss. But yes, I was definitely, as soon as that 200 was broken, that was it. It was like, nope, this is going down. So there was definitely some opportunity to make money on the downside. And so whoever did do that, congrats to those traders. I know I did comment on it, and I know people had made money on it. So that's, I'm happy for them that they were able to benefit from the downside opportunity that was discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. Good points. Okay, SAC, your king brought you up. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for doing this space, guys. I'm up 25% on some Cleveland Cliff calls right now. Just wondering if you think they're going to run their April 14th calls. If I should keep holding them longer. And I also just got into some Sunrun puts. I'm down just a little bit on those, but do you think that's going to keep going down or what?
We're not able to give you personal financial advice as we're not investors. We can definitely take a look at that chart and tell you what we are seeing, but are not able to advise if you should sell or hold. From a call perspective, we're still seeing some nice call flow coming through in CLF. They actually came in and swept the 325.26 calls. So you're seeing some money flow supporting some continued upside. You did have a really nice little breather pull back to the AEMA, and we're just rubbing back up. I think you would probably do best by trailing your stop, putting, to where you're locking in profits and moving up your stop just so that your stop is taking you out and you're exiting that trade green should that start to go against you. But CLF, solid name, those industrial material names have been extremely strong relative strength in the market. So still continuing to see some money flow coming through there, suggesting more upside from an options flow perspective.
Cool. Thanks so much. All right.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for coming up and asking. Feel free, anybody else in the audience, to throw some questions our way. But continue to look. Hey, Chantel, how's it going?
Hey, Wolf, how are we doing?
We are good. We are good. I saw you were in the crowd. I wasn't sure if you, I know I threw you a speaker invite. Do you have any comments or anything you want to throw in here?
Yeah, I'm just like, I love your rooms, Wolf, and I saw Women of Wall Street, and I'm like, I need to be in this room. And I will be honest, I am somewhat of an amateur, a beginner in this thing called trading, and I'm just like, I'm gonna learn some things by osmosis. So, yeah, here just being a bit of a sponge, and yeah, maybe I could ask like a beginner question, just in terms of if somebody's starting from scratch, like myself, how would they go about it? And bearing in mind, I'm based in the UK, in London. So yeah, thank you.
Sure. Anybody want to tackle that?
You have to put some time in to learn. I know that when you're following, especially on FinTwit, people will get very flashy with gain porn and just I made this, I made that, and it can be really discouraging for a newer trader because trading is not easy. And I can tell you, everyone on this panel has put in hours to learn. There are a ton of great resources on YouTube. You want to make sure that you understand how to read charts from a technical perspective. TrendSpider has great university as well as their YouTube channel that goes over a lot of different indicators. Investopedia.com is going to be your absolute best friend because any financial term that you do not understand or you want more clarification on or technical patterns, indicators, they're going to be able to give you an overall view so that you can make sure you're thoroughly understanding the why behind some of the things that are being mentioned. I would suggest following everybody that's on the panel. I put out a lot of information. My preference is to follow money flow. So I like to look at the activity that's taking place in options and dark pool. I do add a lot of content that I put out there so that you guys are able to stay in line and see what's coming through the tape that's catching my eye. That may not be your personal preference. You may be more of an investor. Just reach out and try to find some people that align with your personal trading style. I know Sim, and I'll let her, definitely speak here in a minute. She's more of a scalper. She likes to take those profits very quickly. So her trading style is going to be very different from what I'm personally looking at. And that's okay. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's all about how you can trade with the least amount of stress, which makes the more sense to you, the most sense to you.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. And I have literally followed everyone on stage even before you saying that. So yeah,
Well,
thank
we
you.
definitely appreciate it, and good luck, and be patient with yourself. It's going to be something that you'll bear the fruits based off of the time that you put in. You've worked hard for your money. Everybody up here has. There's no rush. The market's not going anywhere. It's going to be vital that you're taking in that additional knowledge, and that takes time. And that's something that's you'll have little aha light bulbs that click. Even just listening on the spaces has been really helpful because I'm not as versed in, fundamentals or more the investing aspect as some of the panelists that Wolf has on. So I'm able to kind of expand myself a little bit more by continuing to attend, the various spaces that he hosts because he's pulling together some of the top people that are in the industry group that kind of have that as a specialty. And so I know personally myself, I've been able to kind of grow just being able to learn a little bit more in areas where I have weaknesses. So giving me some insight just to be able to kind of grow and continue to expand. And that's the thing, it doesn't ever stop. So just keep on keeping on.
That's right.
Just
I
to kind
agree.
of piggyback off of that as well. Oh, by the way, we're up 30% on this SPX. I'm gonna take a couple of profits here. Just gonna leave some runners at break even stop loss. Um, One of the things that like I think helped me the most is initially like when you jump into trading, there's so many different styles, just like what Mel was saying. Um, but it's really figuring out what your style is. Like exactly what she said. Everybody has a different style. There's no like exact right way to trade. It's just what you're comfortable with. So I found my style of scalping, and this is what I enjoy doing the most. I don't like to, expose myself very heavily to the market at all times. I love that cash for me. I mean, is a position no matter what. That was one of the things that I learned very later on actually in trading. I wish I had learned that earlier. If I had, I probably would have had, made all these dumb mistakes. But that's the reality of the game, right? And then also, be patient with yourself. Like learning trading is like learning a new language. There's so much that goes into this. I mean, I think before, like, I wasn't on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter for too long. So, even before Spaces, when I would just watch like a simple YouTube video, I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, I don't understand the verbiage. So I think that alone is really difficult to kind of understand the market, the mechanics of the market, know even, simple things like what are futures. People just don't know these things. As a new trader, I don't blame them. I didn't know either. So, be patient with yourself and understand that nothing is learned overnight. And even till now, most people will say, well, Sim, you're this pro trader. I learn something new every single day because there's so much to learn in this market. So never limit yourself, but also hone in on what your strategy is. Stick to that. Once you become good at something, stick to it. Have actual rules when you're trading. Have good risk management. Easy to make money in the market. It's really hard to keep that money. And the way that you keep it is by having that good risk management strategy.
Yes, thank you. That is amazing. This is like a mini masterclass on just getting started. Even I think mindset has a lot to do with it. And I do feel very much like predisposed to like learning in this market. Like I have a keen interest in finance. I've just never taken the time to kind of like really like skill down on it. So yeah, I'm here now making up for that time. And I think that idea of being patient and not, kind of expectant of too much of an outcome. But I do have a great motivation for doing it. So, yeah, I hope to do it well over the next.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
But again, just remember that like there's no right time. Uh, I always call it divine timing. Like it's your time when it's your time. I could have maybe started trading. People always ask me, "Do you wish you started, earlier?" No, I really don't, because maybe during that time it just wasn't the right time for me. I could have been. I mean, back then I was super. I was very new. I was very green. I maybe wouldn't have taken the time to learn certain things in the market because of that. I was very impulsive as well, and maybe that would have been something that worked against me during that time. I would have started chasing plays or whatever. So I always believe that your timing is your own. Like, never feel like you're behind. There's always opportunity for anybody in this market whenever they want to start.
And hi, ladies. I wanted to say good morning. I was just on a call, but I wanted to hop in too. Chantel, I'm really proud of you for getting into the space. It's extremely intimidating, and I think more power to the women. And that's exactly why we're doing these spaces. If you want to DM me your email, I have some free PDFs for books for beginners that helped me get started a few years ago, and I preach by those. So anybody that is listening, if you're interested in that, you can DM me your email. I will send them out. Sharing is caring, and we can take all the resources that we can get. And yeah, I mean, everyone's trading strategy is different. I'm a swing trader, but now I'm going to be trading full time. So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean I need to trade every single day. I can watch the market, and I might not be comfortable making a play. But yeah, I started actually trading, like day trading again on Monday, and I had some success with uranium stocks, and it's been really fun. But prior to that, I would have been trading like once a week. So my trading strategy is definitely changing, and I'm excited to see what I can do with that. And I think hopping on these spaces with Sim and Mel and Vegas and Wolf, I'm just going to get better and better. And I encourage everyone else who is trading, whether they're new or old, to hop in here, and you're going to learn a little bit of a different insight that someone has, and maybe something that you weren't doing before, but now you can integrate into your style. So, also good morning.
That's so lovely from the blonde broker. It's Vegas, and I love what she said. And I'm going to put a link here also with regards to the free books. There is a PDF file. It was shared recently by Gavin, and I'll just retweet it if you want to just click it as well. You can whole list of free PDF books that you can open. They're all in folders, and then you just click if you're into technical analysis or stock market 101, day trading collection. You just double click on the folder, and then once you double click on the folder, boom, you got like hundreds of books. So if you love reading, you'll love this link. So definitely, take advantage of the free content, and then you just pick the book that suits you. Never too late to learn. I mean, God bless. My dad's 73, and he came by to see me last week, and he's like, "Oh, this is really cool what you're doing." He goes, "You know what? I think I'll come by next week and visit you again, and maybe you can show me some stuff." And he's taken, an interest. I mean, he's, semi-retired, and he's bored. He wants to use his brain. He wants to feel useful. And he's 73 and still wanting to learn. I even have a gentleman in my room, and he's 80, and he's been trading for about 10 years, but now he's part of my room because trading can be lonely. So it's nice to be sometimes in moderated chat rooms where you are engaged with other traders. You have more eyes on the market. You have good support from other members of the team. Trading can be stressful. You might have a bad day, and then you have other members that can help motivate you or help lift up your spirits, and or give suggestions for an opportunity to hedge sometimes your trade, maybe on something that you weren't even looking at, because sometimes when you're down on a trade, you're so focused on that trade, and then when you have other members that could say, "Oh, look, I'm actually long on this stock," or "I'm long on this, I'm buying calls," and you're like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that one was running," and then it gives you an opportunity to sometimes hedge your trades. So it's really nice to be able to collaborate with good members on a team that generally have a good interest in you doing well, and that generally want to help you. Because we know in trading, not every trade is going to work, but you want to be able to work with people that do want to help you and that do want to see you do well in your trades.
I really, really, really want to thank you all so much, because, I mean, not only is this like an opportunity to get some like real insight on how to start, it's also like an opportunity to like really tap into people, women who are doing it, not just kind of like at the sidelines. So I'm definitely excited by that. And even when I think about my why, like, I definitely feel so motivated by it that I'm just like, this is what resilience looks like. And I feel like just perfecting that area like would be another discipline to add to my belt. And yeah, I definitely, I'm getting choked up, guys. Thank you so much.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, that was so sweet. Well, we are here to support women, and we support everyone. But it's really encouraging to hear stories from women trying to do well in the markets and trying to learn and trying to enhance, their financial freedom. And we know a lot of single parents out there and struggling, and it's great to know that if you're even a stay-at-home mom, sometimes you sacrifice your own careers because you were a stay-at-home mom, and now you're like, what am I going to do with myself? And then so trading gives you that opportunity that it doesn't matter any age. You don't need a designation to learn how to trade. If you have the commitment, you have the drive, you can learn. The only thing is you just got to put in the time, because really that's the time on the screens, the time with learning from other people, reading material. Once you put in the time, it's going to pay for itself. It's not going to be quick, but it's, put in the time. You'll get there. I mean, it took me a long time to get like to the level where I am now. I had so many struggles, and I've blown up accounts, and I used to go, I used to sometimes have my days where it's like broke down, mental breakdowns, because it was just so rough. And to see now that things have worked, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle. So I can certainly relate to all of you that's had a challenge. But the journey is the opportunity is available to everyone, and never let anyone discourage you that you can't do it. Sometimes people may think you can't do it because they don't, they think the stock market, they have their own thoughts on what they think the market is, but just believe in yourself. And if you are, you're really your own cheerleader. Because I had people that didn't believe, like, why are you doing the stock market? It's ridiculous. And if I would have listened to that and thought, oh yeah, they're right, I shouldn't do it, I wouldn't maybe be doing what I'm doing today. And, I have a passion for it. I love it. I love especially helping people. But the thing is, believe in yourself. And, if anyone discourages you, then you just gotta like close them out and just focus and just, you have to motivate your own self and be your own cheerleader and believe you can do it, and surround yourself with really amazing, positive people. Like Twitter Spaces has been great even for me. I love engaging with other people I've met through Spaces. And thank you, Gavin, for being such a gracious host and organizing so many spaces each week. So engaging to meet such wonderful people, such inspiring people, and people that have good intentions to actually give you good material and good content. Talking and giving market commentary with information that you can use for your trading journey and to enhance your trading experience and education as well. So shout out to Gavin as well, and to all the amazing panel members here and all the other ones that I've engaged with. I've learned from so many of them. And, it's free to come on Twitter Spaces. So take advantage that even if you have time and you don't have maybe the resources to currently spend money to go into chat rooms, take advantage of the space content. There's so many great ones each day with phenomenal panels, members that give good information that can help you each day or throughout your trading. So take advantage of the time of the material and the time coming into spaces when you can.
Love it. Love it. Very well said. Uh, Enjoying everything going on up here. And also, obviously, we've had some great plays called out on the space, too. We had another guest that came up, joining the Woman of Wall Street, Mrs. Gergavin. Since Vegas, you did mention him. If you have any...
Oh yeah, I did with his beautiful books. Yes, Mrs. Gergavin, want to come speak or?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just had my name and saw the name of the room right. I was like, yeah, she's come on in this account, so I fit right in. It's my new picture, my new name, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Aaron, did you want to say something?
I'm tweeting this shit right now. Sorry. I just screenshotted. We have our newest member, Mrs. Gergavin, Women of Wall
I
Street.
mean, it's 2022, right? I can do what I want, so.
I hear. Okay. Did you have anything you want to throw in the conversation? Any stocks you're looking at?
So for me, I'm not buying anything to the next Fed meeting. That's on the 15th and 16th. I am expecting, I would say, 25%, and so are all of these economists that are projecting But again, I think if we get no hike, which is very, very unlikely, we run a lot. At 25, we run. 50, we might be flat. Anything above 50 seems very, very unlikely. But if we do, looking at these 40-year high numbers on the CPI, we might even get a bigger hike. But again, just for one time. If we do that, I think we dump out on the Nexus at least 2% on that day alone. So for me, right, it makes no sense to be over leveraged, especially to the long side going into that. So, and in this market, don't hold anything short term over the weekend. You don't know what comes out. So, just my two thoughts for these two things.
Feels like 2% is like a normal day nowadays.
Bro, on Monday, we were up 2.5, 2.6%. Let me double check. And that was the biggest one day gain. No, my bad. Monday, we were down 2.9. That was the worst close since 2020 October. Wednesday, we were up 2.6. That was the biggest gain since June 2022. In 2 days, bro. Stuff like this does not happen in a bull market or in the normal market. And Thursday, we had a new 41-year high of inflation data, 7.9%.
Good times all
Yeah.
around.
It depends, right? If you're long or short, so.
Yeah, it's great points. Anybody on the panel have any commentary on that? The kind of the volatility we've been seeing?
Well, VIX is still about 30, right? So, I mean, again, right, what is VIX? VIX is basically the number of puts being bought on the S&P 500 a month out. So people are still bearish. So as long as the put buying goes on, people still keep buying puts. VIX will be inflated. So, and above 30 for VIX is usually not a good sign for the market, I would say. Usually means bearish in the short term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. I'd love to hear how everybody's kind of taking the VIX into account here. Sim?
Yeah, VIX above 30. I mean, honestly, even for myself, I mean, if VIX is sitting right now at what, around 29 or so, right? So if we see, for me, what I'm looking at mainly right now is I'm looking at why the Qs are holding so heavily. Why is it holding? If I feel like if Amazon didn't have that potential or that split news that came out, we would see a heavier sell-off across the board. And what I'm looking at right now is, so for SPY, for example, couple of little levels that we've been just kind of back and forth bouncing off of. The 425 was from the other day, right? So I still see another rejection sitting at 425 right now, 425.2 to be exact. I see a potential rejection there. Overall, yes, am I still bearish? Absolutely. But we're just chopping around right now. We're in this like weird little territory. So under 423 is my my trigger for major short bias. And then over 425.7 is gonna be not my major level for anything in reality. I would need to see 426.8 be reclaimed on SPY to really take anything into consideration to the upside. I'm short bias all the way. I think that we see a potential sell-off still. I don't think that a lot of this news that's been coming out about Russia and all that, I feel like we're not priced in just yet. So I'm super short bias no matter what, as of now. And that's for the short term.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense to me. Mel or Vegas, any thoughts on that? Or Aaron, on the VIX right now, where that's at with elevated levels?
I'll let Aaron and Vegas speak on that. I already commented on kind of what I was seeing in the VXX. We had larger dark pool activity coming in at the top, and the size that we had was just a little high. So it looks like that was distribution up there, at the top. I'm very aware that we have a lot of headline risk, so I'm still not. I've got some longer term swings in the IWM that just kind of been my main focus, just based off of some of the money flow that we've been seeing. But I've got time on those, so and those are out to April. So just with headline risk, I'm not trying to go too long. It's a smaller percentage of my portfolio. I think with the range that we're getting, day trades have been amazing. That you're making, you're able to make just on some of the moves in the range that we have, some good gains that you just would not want to put at risk, knowing that you have the potential for headlines overnight. But Aaron, go ahead and let you speak on that in Vegas as well.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm watching down, I guess, what 3% today. So I'm just kind of looking at that and trying to play SQQQ right now. So this is like a newer strategy for me, but I, you know, I don't know if VIX is going to bounce back around lunchtime or if it's going to continue to drop. So I'm trying to see like what I should be doing with these ETFs.
Also, to kind of piggyback off of that as well, when it comes to being short bias, again, I'm a scalp trader in the market. I have to take the quick moves. I mean, prime example was that SPX trade that I called out a little bit ago. I took that 30%, I ran with it. I mean, and look at it where it's sitting at now, and that's the thing though, in this type of market, these types of market conditions, this is, it's like kangaroo market. That's what I consider it. We're bouncing. I mean, we're hitting, I guess you could say, we're hitting these new lows. Well, they're not new lows on SPY, but like just throughout the day, intraday levels, right? Only to bounce back up, only to come right back down. I mean, there's no clear sentiment right now. So anytime there's no clear sentiment, I mean, scalp trading is really where it's at, super successful, right? I'm able to do this in any market though, which is really, really good. But I think that as a trader, if you're in this market right now and you are swing trading, I pray for you. It's really tough. The market conditions are just really horrible. But it's really important also, I think, besides just looking at SPY and Qs, is you got to look at the sectors. There's certain sectors that are moving really nicely right now. A couple of days ago it was oil, right? A lot of people are trading oil. So you got to be able to kind of expand outside of just looking at these, these major blue chip stickers. Take a look at something else as well. Always be diverse, always go ahead and look at these different sectors, no matter what day it is or what's happening. Because you're always going to find a diamond in the rough by doing that. But again, it comes down to you being versatile.
So can I ask a question then? If for people who aren't wanting to trade like blue chip stocks, if we are going into something like a recession and it's really hard to swing trade, should people be looking at like materials and I think uranium we saw ran the last 2 weeks. I could see it squeezing again next week, but after that, I don't know if that's the right move. Should we be shorting like some e-commerce and banks and retail stocks? Like, I guess as far as swing trading goes, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm at a standstill right now.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Simi, what's going on? Do you have a question?
I'm Simi. My name is Simi, and I'm 16. This year I got into learning about markets and, learning the importance of being financial literate, especially for women. So, in this space, I see a lot of inspirational women in the market, and I would just like to ask if there is any advice any of you would like to kindly give me. Anything you will look back on and thought you could do that. So yeah, thank you.
Any of you ladies want to weigh in?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, big ups to you for being in a market like this. This is very tough market even for the most experienced traders right now. So congrats on coming into the market. That's awesome for you to even take that step. One of the things that I think has helped me the most is creating rules for trading. I think a lot of people want to come into the market and they want to make money and they want to make money fast, right? But one of the things that had helped me the most was to build a set of rules and then to really stick to those rules. So the thing with whenever I'm jumping into a trade, for example, I have a plan. right? My plan is it consists of an entry strategy and an exit strategy. Okay, so you have to have that lined up before you even jump into any type of ticker. So if there's one thing that I could tell myself when I first started is to have these rules. Have a percentage to the downside. Like, let's just say your stop loss percentage on a weekly contract is 15% stop loss. Stick to that rule if that's your rule. There's an analogy that I always like to use, and this is why sticking to your rules works. So it's like the casino, right? When you jump into a casino as a player, you have your set of rules. Let's just say going to a blackjack table, for example. So let's just say I'm the owner of the actual casino itself, and you come in and you go ahead and you take my blackjack casino that night for $2 million. Okay, what am I gonna do as the owner of the casino? Probably hook you up with free dinners, whatever, a penthouse suite, whatever it takes, because I'm gonna assume and I'm also gonna hope that the next time you come back to my table, you're gonna give it all back to me. But what doesn't the casino owner do during that time? Even though they give away everything to the player, right? They want them to come back, whatever. Do they change their rules on blackjack? No. And that's why they always say the house always wins. Because the house has an advantage. And when that advantage is there like that, you're going to start experiencing a lot more consistency in your trading. And if I could go back and tell myself one thing, it would have been that. Stick to your rules no matter what. Because again, when you stick to your rules, and no matter what, and you don't, every single time that you're inside the market, right, anytime you're in a play or whatever, even if the play goes against you, as long as you stick to your rules, that's capital preservation and that's good risk management. So that's definitely one of the biggest pieces of advice that I wish I had told myself when I first started.
Sorry to interrupt, Sim, just really quick. I'm cutting the AMD. I'm starting to see some of those 106 calls go bid. We fell below the one dark print and now under the 34. We've been riding that as support on the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that, and I've got